Militudes? Militudes.
Multitudes.
Multitudes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Millipedes? JK, I know it's not millipedes. That's a bug. It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, I am Ramona Ramirez Higgins. Hello.
Hi, friend.
Hi.
I'm looking at this reflection, and I could use some Kérastase, you know?
Oh,
I could.
not
that stuff
accurate.
works. Everyone's hair who uses it looks amazing. I'm in a winter moment. It's been real cold down here. Lots of dry heat. So like my skin and my hair just feels like everything's getting like brittle and dry. So I just want to bathe in Kérastase.
Yeah, California's been cold. You know, I know that could sound like, fuck you, California, bullshit. But it was in the mid-30s yesterday when I took Leo to school, possibly this morning as well. By the middle of the day, it's like 62, but I think we're supposed to start warming up.
Today it's supposed to be like, it's been like in the low 60s, and today it's supposed to be 80. So it's like, okay, California. But it's nonsense because this morning it was also 30 degrees when I was out with Evelyn early, and it's just crazy. So
it's the desert, y'all. It's the desert. There's more deserty parts than others, and yes, we also have redwoods, which I am about 5 minutes from. So just don't even fucking listen to me. I am not a geologist, and I am not a geographist, and I am not a meteorologist.
I am none of those things.
Talking about the weather.
All I want to do is fix my dry, frayed hair. That's all I want is my summer hair back and not this like spazzy winter hair. Anyways, that's not why you called. Yeah. Should we talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 1?
We should. So yes, we are on the set of Santorini, and it is a beautiful set. It seems like some people came in with Greek goddess vibes, more overt Greek goddess vibes than others. I feel like Lisa consistently wears a purple hue.
Yeah.
Is that her brand at reunion dresses, is a purple hue?
It appears to be some sort of purple bodycon number.
Mm-hmm.
And then Meredith was just in Vegas. Everyone else was in Santorini, and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to wear an award show dress. I was like, okay, great.
I thought Bronwyn had some of the most beautiful hair and makeup I've ever seen on a reunion stage.
Was that real, her hair, or was that extensions? Okay.
I can't imagine that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of it, but no. The other part is
gorgeous.
Real, sure.
But
from
not
her
grown
head,
from her own
Not
scalp.
grown from her own head. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, Heather's dress confused the shit out of me. She made the first entrance, and I was like, no, what is this like superhero cape, chiffon cape? This looks like when I was little and I was a ballet dancer as a little kid, and we started taking modern and modern dance in like 4th or 5th grade. And to get you into the spirit of modern dance, they would give you dance dresses, which is basically what Heather had on. They were just like these chiffon movement pieces, and they were just ridiculous. So maybe that's what I saw when she walked on the stage. I was like, why are you in a dance dress? What are you doing? The color was gorgeous. She looked great, but the cap capey sleeve confused me fashion-wise.
I get that.
Was it gorgeous?
I thought she looked really good. I thought that it was definitely the goddess vibes because it was the flowy and the kind of the top you'd see a bust of Hera wearing, you know?
Yes, you're right.
I wasn't a fan of like the part where it started getting structured, like under the bust line. I felt like if it was just flowy, it would have looked a little less matronly on the top. When it started to get structured is when it kind of veered matronly. But I did think she looked really classy. I liked it reminded me a little bit of like a 60s, 70s kind of a caftan, like something you'd see someone on like Lawrence Welk wearing. But I mean that in the best possible way.
Yes. See, I mean it in the like, what is that costume way? Mm-hmm. I think it's my dance dress trauma just entering the conversation. Because she walked on and I was like, oh, she looks beautiful. And then as she approached the camera, I was like, what's going on with this? Too much chiffon.
Where are your nude character shoes? Where is your
Exactly.
shuffle ball chain to make the skirt hem
That's
flutter?
exactly right. Do a paddle turn so we can see the skirt work. Anyways, yeah, Mary, her mint green church dress was just like everything she always wears. Angie, I thought looked pretty stunning in red. And Bronwyn in her, was that white or was it like butter yellow?
I feel like it was a butter yellow.
Yeah,
It
okay.
looks red as butter yellow.
It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then Whitney was wearing a prom dress. She was wearing like a weird lavender strapless number that I was like, okay, you got that at Cachet at the mall and it's working fine.
So I was surprised it was Bronwyn and Lisa sitting next to Andy. I would have thought it would have been Angie and Meredith sitting next to Andy, but it was not. And I was wondering if I wonder if Angie was shocked that she wasn't the one sitting next to Andy. I guess Bronwyn's storylines, Angie was at the middle of shit stirring, but Bronwyn had real issues going on. So maybe I'm figuring this out in real time that it makes sense the way the seating chart was. But Meredith not sitting next to Andy kind of smacked of, like, it kind of affirmed the cast's opinions that Lisa is Meredith's mouthpiece.
Oh, for sure. And they actively Statlered and Waldorfed themselves into that corner during the course of just part one of this reunion, whispering and getting caught. They're ridiculous. But I do think you're right. I think my guess is Bronwyn told the producers, I'll be breaking the news that Todd and I are separated. And they were like, move her right next to Andy. And then it makes more sense. She and Lisa have more trouble with one another than she and Meredith. So it makes sense to put them center stage. And also, I wonder if the producers just know we're not going to get anything from Meredith. I was instantly frustrated because I was like, she's just here to like present her case and she's not going to budge at all. And so why give her the coveted next to Andy spot if she's just going to do the same shit we've watched all season?
I can hear that. I can hear that.
And by the way, I suddenly am having, I feel disgusting about commenting on these women's fashions because if you could see what I'm wearing, and like I said, my hair is like a scarecrow straw right now. So I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know why I feel like I have a leg to stand on to talk about fashion. I'm just noting how their looks struck me. But now I'm thinking about what Heather says at the end of this episode about she knew the critique that she would be facing going on screen. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm one of the bad guys. I don't know anything about fashion. This is not my fucking area of expertise. So they looked great. The stage looked beautiful. Meredith looked out of place in sequins, but everyone else looked like they followed the Grecian brief.
I understand where you're coming from. I hear where you're coming from, and I respect that. I would also invite you to remind yourself that they signed up for this. They signed up for all of it. If you and I were on that stage, there would be two people sitting in a podcast booth, 3, 1, I don't know, saying, what the fuck was Ramona wearing? And no one has a cuter athleisure game than you do. You're not just throwing on a schmata. It's a very considered and adorable sweatsuit, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see your bottom
You're
half, but yes.
right. Yes.
So, yeah. And I have looked for that exact sweatshirt on The Real. So yeah. I'm just saying it's all relative. But I hear where you're coming from, friend. I get it. I feel the same way. It's a constant, I don't want to say it's a battle. It's not that deep. But, I have conversations with myself. Like, what am I doing? Talking shit.
I have such big feelings about, people who comment anonymously on shit online, because I was working with a writing client yesterday who's really destroyed by some comments she read about stuff that she posted that were unfavorable. And I'm like, do you know any of these people? Like, do they have a leg to stand on? Do you give a shit about them? Like, they're so vile and they're so anonymous. And so I think I was like, am I contributing to that energy in the world? I don't want to do that. Anyways, who gives a shit? To me, Heather looked like she looked gorgeous and like she was in a dance dress, period. That's it. That's all I got to say.
That's fine. Okay. It's not everybody's outfit's going to be for everybody. I'm sure my opinion about Bronwyn looking exquisite someone's going to say something about, why did she look like she was off the Carol Burnett show in 1972? I don't know.
Well, they would be wrong because she did look exquisite. And I
Stunning.
actually thought of you. I was evaluating her makeup because it was like so natural, but it read on camera. And I feel like that is such an impossible sweet spot that Lisa didn't hit. Her lip liner was nuts. I was like, oh no. But it's impossible. It's so hard to find that sweet spot with lights and your real complexion versus how you get washed out and what you're wearing. Like, anyways, she looked divine.
I mean, the lighting on the soundstage is so vastly different from when they're lighting and filtering the confessionals. It just was a reminder that a lot of everything I see is smoke and mirrors. See, I'm twisting this into my own, we can all project our own insecurities onto what we're talking about.
I swear that's what was fascinating about Bronwyn is somehow she looked filtered. She looked like not dewy, but like misty, or I don't know. It was fascinating. It really,
her makeup was stunning.
Drew my attention. So whoever her makeup artist is, cheers to you.
The blend game is unrivaled.
Oh my God.
So good. So good. So Andy greets everybody and he lands on Meredith asking her what her goal is for tonight's reunion. And immediately, she doesn't even take like a full sentence or a hi, Andy, it's good to be here. Just immediately launches into some weird manipulation, passive aggressive kind of energy, focusing on Whitney. And she says, well, I think before I can even address anything, there is one question I need to ask, which will change the trajectory of today for me. So I just think to ask Whitney, when we spoke at BravoCon, you said there were some things you wanted to clear up. So I want to go ahead and give you the floor to do that. So disgusting.
And so rehearsed, but so poorly delivered. Everyone was talking wrong for like the first 30 minutes of this thing. Meredith says she offers the invitation to Whitney. I want to give you the floor to clear this up. And Whitney says, I would love to clear the floor. And I was like, no, it's clear the air or take the floor. But oh God. And Whitney, for like the majority of this reunion, is just, her words are all over the place. But I did think it was interesting that clearly both of them were anticipating this interaction because Whitney has to defend her own drinking, saying, so I drank a lot at BravoCon, which was, I didn't even read much about BravoCon, but all I do remember hearing was that Whitney was wasted everywhere she went. And Whitney says, when I drink, I am a very happy, loving drunk. I love to love on people. I tried to talk to Meredith of, that's how she said, I spoke to Meredith of, I am sorry for how things have fallen out with us. I want to be your friend. And then she goes on to explain that Meredith later characterized that drunken statement as retracting everything that Whitney had said about Meredith over the course of the season, i.e. being an alcoholic pill popper. And Meredith says that Whitney asked her, why can't we just be friends off camera and leave camera on? Again, what are those words? I don't understand what you're saying, but loosely I get it. And Meredith says that she objected to Whitney saying that they can't be one way on camera and a different way off camera. Those are the same things. It's like, oh, are they? Because you seem to be real weird about telling us what happened off camera on the plane. We're launching into like full hips right out the gate. I'm already tired and we're in the first exchange of note and I'm already like, ladies.
Such full hip. And it was also a good reminder, like when Whitney said, why can't we be friends off camera? I have been watching old episodes of Roni. I didn't start at the very beginning when I started my most recent quasi rewatch because I just wasn't patient enough to go back to like the Alex and Simon days. My point is that if anyone has not watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, or The Real Housewives of New York, or The Real Housewives of Orange County from their inception, it is so jarring to see how much more authentic it was. Maybe it wasn't, and we just thought it was, but compared to now, it is a vastly different show, and I really miss that. And I don't know if any reality TV is going to return to that ever again because it's now so common, like how that sausage is made.
And it's entertainment now. Before it was like, I think it's still categorized in agencies and stuff as like documentary alternative programming, but now it's truly entertainment. It's lightly scripted.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I don't think we can go back. Like the people who are drawn to put themselves up for casting for these things are not people who don't self-produce. Wow, that
It's
was a lot
Stephanie
of
Shojai.
negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yep.
Brittany. Yes. So the friends off camera versus on camera comment, it just took me out. Everything is contrived and
Yes.
it's a bummer.
Including, in my opinion, that comment. Because I do believe Whitney was wasted and was like, I'm your friend. I've always been your friend. I
Totally.
know I hurt your
Agreed.
feelings, but can't we just be friends? And now Meredith is twisting this for us for camera to say, she's saying we should be one way off camera and one way on camera. And Whitney was like, no. And I'm sitting on my couch going, no, you guys.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
But Meredith, in another moment of pointing the finger at yet another person who's an alcoholic, not her, she calls she calls Whitney a fall down drunk, and your husband had to carry you upstairs. And Whitney says she approached Meredith in a happy drinking moment, and she goes, but trust me, I will never do it again. I will never try to be your friend again. And Meredith goes, good. And again, my heart sort of broke for her in that moment because I was like, ooh, this is sort of, again, reminiscent of addicts in my life who, when they get to the place of being busted, then they just start to isolate and push everyone the fuck away because the most important thing to them is their substance. So she's going to say for now, good, I don't care if you ever want to be my friend again. But when the substance ultimately, inevitably fails them, that's where step work comes in and you can make your amends and stuff. It was a sad moment to see Meredith just devaluing a human being who really is trying to help her. And if Meredith wasn't an addict, I think she could just say, you're reading this situation really wrong. I know your heart's in a good place, but like, I don't know how to engage with someone who thinks I'm an addict. So like, we just got to take space, dude. But instead she's like, good. Don't be my friend. Fuck you. I don't need friends. Just Lisa and Xanax or whatever the fuck she's on.
Yeah, it was hard. That was really hard to watch. It's always hard to watch people evade opportunities to take personal responsibility. There were just little things that I noticed in Meredith that projecting like it's my job, projecting italicized, bold, all caps, dramatic typeface. I can't say it enough. Her mouth was dry when she was talking to Whitney. I have had a handful of voiceover auditions in the last couple of days that I've been doing. And if I have more nerves going on, again, projecting. Or when I'm about to have like a gnarly conversation, like my mouth goes dry. And I hear it. I hear it when I edit this podcast. I hear it when I edit my voiceover auditions. I feel it. It's part of it is my ADHD meds. God damn, they're so dehydrating. But also part of it can be anxiety. And I just kept hearing her I kept hearing her mouth smacks. Gross. But I spotted I got it. It just nothing read confident to me with Meredith
it all
saying
read defensive
and strategic.
And trying to just turn the focus on what's wrong with everyone else.
Rehearsed,
They're all saying what's
yes.
wrong with me, and now I have things I will say about each of them. And then she and Lisa were just like a ridiculous demonstration. And I'm so glad the cameras caught them whispering, like, did I miss anything? Did I get it all? Jesus Christ, you numbnuts.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyways, the conclusion of this is Whitney is basically just trying to remind Meredith that they have a long-standing friendship and she stood behind her even when Lisa said horrible things about her. And then it all falls apart again because Lisa chimes in defending herself and defending Meredith. Whitney says, Lisa, shut it up. Again, just word salads. I did appreciate this as Lisa and Meredith are yelling at Whitney. Mary gently turns to Whitney and encourages her and says, just relax, take your time, say what you mean. You have it. You have the floor. And Whitney did kind of calm down. She didn't reach fever pitch with those other two ladies. And she just said, I stand by everything I witnessed. So she just got really clear and didn't get into the fight and just said her version of events, which I believe more likely to be the true version of events. And then Andy asked Meredith, now that you have the answer to your question, how will the trajectory of the night go? And Meredith just goes, I'm waiting. And I was like, oh, so you thought you were setting up some big gotcha moment to deactivate all of the conversation about your alcoholism, and it didn't work, and now you got nothing. Cool.
She's so embarrassing.
She is. As we say in writing, you want to fulfill the promise of the premise. So when you set something up like this will change the entire trajectory of the night, and then you get your answer and you're like, shrug, I don't know. It's like, well,
Yeah.
what was all that dramatic bullshit for? Again, one exchange in and I'm exhausted.
So Whitney asks Meredith, are you going to apologize about lying about me? And Meredith tells her, I didn't lie, Whitney. You're the one who lied, and you didn't like that you were called out and I established boundaries. Okay, so what Meredith is doing here is saying, you getting wasted at BravoCon and coming up to me and telling me how you feel and having to be carried away by your husband, and Andy saying, we were worried you might not make it across the stage. That cancels out everything you've said about me. That, again, is also part of that crazy kind of equation solving that only, in my experience, an addict is capable of. And then you're like, wow, wait, but that is an apple and an orange. And there you enter the Twilight Zone kind of atmosphere that I talked about last week. And for Meredith to say that she is so smart and she used to be a lawyer and all of this stuff, this is the flimsiest. Well, you're the descendant of lawyers. Is that not the flimsiest argument? Well, you got wasted, so that negates everything you've ever said about me because you got wasted too. Dude.
And all I could think was like, if I was Whitney's lawyer, I'd be like, she got wasted in an appropriate place where everyone was wasted because the event was about being wasted. You got wasted on an airplane, scared the shit out of everyone, so nobody would film it. No, this is just like a big fat no. And also I should say, like, I totally recognize that the math equation solving she's doing, because I used to do that too. The beauty of an eating disorder is that it's like much more secretive and private, and nobody really cares that much because you're not directly, it's a slow suicide, as they say. You're not directly endangering anyone moment by moment. But I used to do that. It just flashed on like when I first moved to New York City out of college, and I told myself, for every alcoholic beverage I consume, I will run 1 mile. First of all, this is not math that works. But at the end of a weekend, I would have like 13 miles to run, and I would. And I still got fat because guess what? That's not an equation that makes any sense. You tell any doctor or dietitian or human being that theory, and they're like, no, dude, you need sleep, you need water. But I was like, nope, here's what you do. For every drink, you run 1 mile. That's the kind of insane math that made perfect sense to me. And if someone had asked me about it, or if I had been given a TV platform to talk about it on, I would have spoken with the same confidence Meredith has here of like, well, you got drunk and you said something that I think means this, and so I'm not an alcoholic. Okay.
Totally. Lord.
This is the part where Andy notes that he was worried about Whitney's appearance on Watch What Happens Live because by the time she showed up to that stage, she was so drunk, he wasn't sure she'd even make it across the stage. And Andy tries to say, we're going to leave this conversation here. And Meredith, under her breath, turns to Lisa and goes, well, if she was that drunk, we're going to believe she remembers our conversation, basically implying that Meredith can be the only holder of the truth in that situation. But Whitney hears this, Sato conversation and yells. She loses it here and goes, I remember our conversation and you lied about me. Do not call me a liar. You need to start owning your shit. And then Meredith gets defensive. Oh, I do. I just don't own things that you create for me to say I do. I don't own lies about me, but I'll own my truth. Goodbye. Done. Thank you. Like, again, just word salad, trying to make an effort to shut this down in some like Matlock closing argument kind of way. And it's just so unsatisfying and desperate and depressing.
And it is, again, evidence. If this is what a lot of people say it is, and again, we're projecting. I am not qualified, allowed. It's not approved of me to say that Meredith is an addict. I own all of that. And
It's based on 1 hour once a week of
right,
edited
exactly.
content. So I get it. I'm not, projecting as well over here.
But season 6 Meredith, the way she has progressed, keyword progress, from season 1 Meredith. So season 1 Meredith can say, no, thank you, I'm disengaging, and she can leave, whatever. Wasn't that one of the fucking first?
Viral kind of.
Well, yes, that was like her first memeable moment, but
Yeah.
it was when Housewives were still really stuck in that rut of doing the Great Gatsby parties.
Oh,
God
yes,
damn,
that's
that used to
right.
get under my fucking skin.
Yeah.
I was like, it's no longer 2013. Move on. My point is that this is how Meredith has progressed in season 1. She still thinks that she can get away with the disengaging, the cutting off of the conversation at the end if she's now done with it. That's it. I'm disengaging, and it's not memeable anymore. Now it's gross to me. She has quite a few fans. People love her. DJ Meredith Marks.
Andy asked the most redundant question ever and says, Lisa, want to talk about you a little bit? And she goes, yeah, okay. Like before he even finishes asking the question.
She asked for a few minutes to like not talk about her yet. And he's like, no, we're going to go.
She did? She said, can we not? Oh.
She's like, oh, I need a few minutes. He's like, well, we're going to start. And she's like,
amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, God. So I basically broke this down. They do a big package of Lisa's season. When we come back from this package, we start with the piece of it that included Heather saying, there's a reason no one rides hard for you. You're a risky fucking friend. And Heather says she still considers Lisa a risky friend because she plays with really high stakes and she's going to fight to the death. And Lisa's answer is that, well, Heather can be snaky. And Heather says, tell me one time I've been snaky. And then Lisa, again, with the straightest face, goes, farting while making out. And then Lisa claims that Heather told Angie to bring up Todd farting while making out with someone else because Heather thought it would be funny. And Heather, to her credit, says, I thought it was funny. I don't disagree, but I also agree with Lisa that was a little snaky. And then Heather says, well, it's not snaky for you to hold your hair over your mouth and say it in the first place. And I was like, ooh, we're in a real rally here. And then Lisa again tries her hand at therapeutic language and says, my reaction to that when you're ready to listen and you're done talking over me because you're tag teaming and you're codependent in your responses and actions. This just opens up a whole new argument. Heather saying it's really rich that you think we tag team. And then she calls out Lisa and Meredith for tag teaming. And Lisa says, I don't need to tag team. I'm solo, honey.
And then Meredith interjects and says, I don't need Lisa writing for me. And Lisa says, writing is a very Utah thing. And now this really pissed me the fuck off, this whole
Me
following.
too. I was so confused
I was like,
and
oh
baffled.
my God, your narrative is really... So Heather says, well, you're from Utah, so you would know. And Lisa claims her DNA is not Utah and that she identifies as a New Yorker. To her credit, I have heard her over the seasons say that this is where she is from. But not to her credit, she has also really, I'm not saying that the fact that she's like a Mormon now negates her New York history. That's not at all what I'm saying. But when she is really hell-bent on talking about her lifestyle and her feelings about the church and all of that, like she's very much Utah.
I was born in New York City. Okay, I was raised there for the first 3 years of my life, and we went every summer for my entire childhood. You don't look at me and go like, that girl's New York. No, I was raised in Pasadena, California, and that is how I present. And I know this, and I always tell people I was born in New York, and then I followed up by saying, hopefully that gives me street cred, because the rest of my story is the truth. Anyways, Lisa is such, I never in a million years, if you let me listen to 20 minutes of Lisa Barlow talking, and then someone were to ask me, name 5 places where you think she might be from, never in a million years would New York City be on that list anywhere. This was so odd. And then I think about the Real Housewives of New York City, and I'm like, in a million years, that is not your culture, ma'am. Stop it. You're New York for Utah. You are not New York for New York.
I get that. Yeah, especially watching like season 1, like Jill Zarin season 1, and Ms. Lesseps is a countess and
Mm.
gets mad at Bethany for not introducing her to Bethany's boyfriend's driver as Mrs. Lesseps. Just like
Lisa
fucking
would be
Luann.
eaten alive in that group.
She's doing a little spinning. She's doing a little plate spinning. And he's just stunned into silence for a beat, and then he turns to Mary, who also agrees that Lisa is a risky friend because she's delusional and believes things that are not true. Like when you said you live a different life from all of us, and it doesn't make sense, and it's sort of offensive. And Meredith defends Lisa. She says something so stupid. Again, I don't understand. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's not for me to understand. Meredith defends Lisa and says, well, I live a very different life. I think we all do. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
That's not
We
what she
obviously,
meant.
that's not what she
She
meant,
meant
right?
different, better. She doesn't mean
Yeah.
different like, you have 2 sons and I have a daughter. That's not what she means. She means she's better. Ugh, it's so, the two of them make me feel insane. It's lying. It's just so
That's
much
true.
spinning and lying, and it makes me so crazy. I gotta go to an Al-Anon meeting. I shouldn't care this much.
So we address that Andy brings up that Lisa didn't go on the season opening camping trip, and Whitney didn't believe that Lisa was away at work, which is what Lisa said was her reason for not being there at the camp trip in the RV. She says, I think there was a different reason. I don't know what, but she's never known Lisa to miss an opportunity to film. And I thought, oh, damn. Oh, shit.
That rang real true.
It really, really did. And she said, and Lisa didn't post any pictures of her event with Ben Affleck. And then Lisa pulls out her phone and pulls up an ancient photo that we've all seen of her and Ben Affleck from 2017. But Whitney also says that she did, while they were on that RV trip, at least she said that Lisa did post a photo of her in bareface, not wearing any makeup, and she looked great. So Whitney wondered, and I thought this was not okay.
Snaky.
It was snaky. So Whitney wondered what work Lisa had done, and she speculates that maybe she was in Miami recovering from whatever that procedure was instead of filming. And then Lisa, again, just shits the bed because, again, no team nobody here, as you would say, Margie. Lisa tries to turn this into a women not supporting women campaign. Instead of them saying, my friend Lisa's a baddie and she's done really cool things for 18 years, you'd rather denigrate it and say, I don't believe her. If I did that to you guys, and Angie interjects and says, dude, you are negative about your friends, saying you could count their money, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. If you talk shit and you don't think it through first, I don't know. Just don't talk shit. Just don't talk shit. Don't talk shit that can have holes poked through it.
And
don't
also,
talk flimsy shit. And also don't bullshit.
And it's just interesting because, again, if it really was not true, a detail that I left out of the notes, but that Whitney did say is that Lisa has never before posted a picture with no makeup, barefaced. It's just interesting that Lisa turned this global instead of just saying, like, I did not get work done. I was at a party. You know what I mean? Again, it's like when you're not lying, there's less to say. And when suddenly it becomes like, well, your friend is a baddie. And for 18 years, I've been, okay, that's great. That can all be true, as well as, did you have a procedure done? And so you didn't want to go camping and ruin your stitches, which is fine. She does look great. So it worked. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But it's weird. And then we move into discussion about Lisa's clarity lunch, which Andy had pointed out created more questions than answers. And that was when Lisa made poster boards of her legal cases and stamped dismissed across all of them and told everyone it's dismissed because it's none of your fucking business. And that's when Andy said, you don't know anything about my business. You do French fries, I do franchise. And in that flashback, Mary goes, ooh, that was good. And Andy asked Bronwyn why she aired out Lisa's legal issues to the group and not just say it directly to Lisa's face. And Bronwyn says at that time, Lisa had made it clear they were not friends, they were never friends, and they were not speaking. But Lisa continued to say things on Twitter to provoke Bronwyn, and Lisa continues to this day shitting on Todd and Bronwyn's family. And this is after they had made an agreement on camera to take their husbands and kids off the table. Whatever conflict they have between the two of them, the agreement was to keep it between the two of them. And Lisa literally in this first segment of the reunion, shits on Todd some more. She can't disconnect in that way. But she also simultaneously denies any wrongdoing on that front. It's crazy. She's crazy.
So Andy asks Lisa, hey, what are the facts of your legal cases? And Lisa stumbles over her legal jargon, using buzzwords wrong, as Heather points out that a summary judgment would mean that Lisa would have been ordered to pay the plaintiff. And Lisa asks, why do you care? Bitch, are you kidding me?
That's what everyone said. They're like, because you care about us all the time.
Right? Because you would absolutely 110% care if the Kérastase was on another strand of hair.
Mm-hmm.
This would absolutely be so important to you. Heather tells Lisa, you only talk about how rich you are, yet it seems like you owe hundreds of thousands of dollars. And Bronwyn agrees with Heather. And Lisa tries to shame her by saying, well, my cases are civil, not criminal, like Bronwyn's. Oh, that was so low. It was so low.
It's just so transparent, too. It's just so inelegant. Disguise it a little bit more. And I appreciated Bronwyn for right on top of that going, say whatever you like about me to deflect from you. But the fact is you have owed these people money and you are paying them back. And I was like, ooh. But Lisa, of course, is like, that's not true. And then Bronwyn says what is true about most legal cases. They're dismissed either because of lack of evidence or, as Bronwyn says, because you paid the people who sued you. That's how you get a case dismissed. You fucking offer a settlement and get it out of the press. And Lisa says that's not so. And Heather goes, okay, so you've never owed anyone money. All of these lawsuits were made up and they did it to you because they're so mean. And Lisa says, no. But she's looking like really thrown at this point. So she just circles back to like, I don't know why you care, which is, again, just proof to me that she was sued. She did owe hundreds of thousands of dollars and she is on payment plans to make restitution, which, again, is fine. People make mistakes. Businesses go hundreds and thousands of dollars into debt and figure that like it's not insane, but it's just her denials are more insane and embarrassing than the initial problem here, I think.
Agreed. So Lisa takes this opportunity to bring up old stuff between her and Bronwyn involving insults about each other's families. And Bronwyn just won't even have it. She asks her to stop it right then. And Bronwyn says, I have abided by the truce they made. Leave our families out of it. And she tells us that Lisa has continued to drag Bronwyn's husband and daughter. She's continued to talk about them as recently as BravoCon. And Bronwyn cites and then shows a video that a fan sent to her with footage from Lisa at BravoCon, body shaming Todd, calling him fat with a small dick. We see the video, and it does show Lisa being disgusting and thirsty and pathetic.
Just playing to that crowd of fans, absolutely just selling out Todd, selling out Bronwyn. And it was really gross to see her go like, yeah, he has a belly. And with gout, can you imagine how little his penis is? I was like, you are so, you're just gross. She reaps what she sows, man. That's all.
She sure does. She sure does. And Bronwyn says Lisa continues to disparage Todd in print, on video, gossiping behind her back. Lisa denies this, says it is a lie. We just watched it, so we all know that that's not true. Bronwyn notes that in Greece, Lisa was calling Todd a dirty old man and a pervert. And Lisa's like, yeah, he is. The smugness, every time she does like a little dig that I feel like even my fourth grader has aged out of this kind of, yeah, you are, yeah. Talking to someone like that wouldn't even cross my mind because I would feel so embarrassed.
I loved the sequence where Bronwyn's like, you continue to lie and disparage Todd. And Lisa goes, that's a lie. And Bronwyn says, you just called him a dirty old man in Greece. Yeah, well, he is. It's like, wait, you just said you don't disparage it anymore. And you answered in the moment, in this moment, not even in Greece anymore. We're right here, right now. And you said, yes, he's a pervert and a dirty old man. Lisa is, I don't even think she has a grasp of where her lies are. I don't think she knows what the truth is. It's just moment to moment what suits her. It's so bizarre. But we do
get
that.
What a terrible way to live.
Truly. And no wonder she has no friends and she's so isolated and she surrounds herself with Gucci bags and, you know, is obsessed with her children because you can't get close to someone like that in real life. Like it's a very weird personality. But we get flashback footage to Greece, unseen footage, where we see Lisa calling Todd, she says, dirty old man, Todd Bradley. You said that? You knew the cameras were there? Like, you are absolutely dug in on being a dickbag. And Bronwyn reiterates that she has abided by their truce, but Lisa continues to speak ill of Todd. And Lisa, like you said, gets all smug and goes, that's a beautiful speech. And Bronwyn goes, that's the truth. And Lisa goes, Gout Dick Sucker went viral. It's not my fault people like to bring it up. And then Andy, to his credit, is like, what is wrong with sucking your husband's dick? And Lisa claims absolutely nothing. And then she tries to defend herself by saying, I was responding to Bronwyn saying, I don't work. So I slammed her husband. And Bronwyn was like, that's exactly the violation of the truce. I attacked you and you attacked my husband. Do you see where the fucking disconnect is, you moron? Ugh. And then Bronwyn says, it's 9 months later and you are still talking about my husband. And this part kind of broke my heart. Lisa goes, it's funny. And Bronwyn jumps right on it and goes, there's nothing funny about this. The only thing funny is that you think you and I are equal in this. I told you at Below Deck, you're dead to me. And I was like, whoa. And at this point in the reunion, nobody on that stage, probably a couple people, but not Lisa. I don't think Lisa knows that Bronwyn and Todd are separated. So this sort of broke my heart when Bronwyn was like, nothing about this is funny. It's ended my fucking marriage. So cheers, you dick.
So Lisa says that on Below Deck, she held Bronwyn's hands and apologized to her and claims Bronwyn accepted her apology. And we do see that footage. And we see Lisa apologizing profusely and promising to never bring up Todd again. And then we also see subsequently that she has continued to slam Todd in any way, shape, and form in a rude way that she can to this day. So Bronwyn and Lisa are yelling over each other. And Andy says, we're not going to solve this. Just stop. And redirects to Lisa's smoky eye in the confessional scene round the world. So Lisa does speak very highly and kindly of her makeup artist and uses her to this day. So she speculates that maybe she cried in her confessional or there was an issue with shadow or something.
I noted that she was very respectful of her makeup artist.
She was. I was very glad.
Me too. And it seemed out of character for Lisa. But it really struck me that she was like, it's not basically like she's incredibly talented. I use her to this day. That was just she says, we went for a look and it didn't land. And I was like, this is so, if this was Lisa Barlow, I would love that lady. But she seems only to be able to access this when it comes to her makeup artist. But at least she found some fucking generosity and compassion and empathy for a second.
I'm so skeptical and cynical, and I don't trust this woman at all, that I figured that she wasn't throwing her under the bus completely because maybe she's getting free services or discounted services from this makeup artist.
It's possible. Yeah, or she owes her money or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Oh, my God. So Andy asks Angie, hey, are you trolling Lisa with your Arby's and your Codigo sponsorships? And Angie says, no, I just jumped on great brand opportunities when they presented themselves to her. And everyone agreed that her Arby's ad was great. Lisa claims she hasn't seen it.
Bullshit.
Dude, if anybody has a Google alert set on their phone, it's Barlow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she says something so fucking whack that, again, I don't know why. If I'm still shocked by anything that comes out of this woman's mouth, if I am still shocked by any decisions this woman makes, it's my problem. I've got the issue. That's for me to work out in post. So Lisa says, people have all benefited from my wins, and that's exciting for them.
And
oh my God,
Angie
dude.
is just like, not really, but thank you, though. And then Lisa takes it to this whole other level that, again, feels rehearsed and it doesn't land. She says, it's like they want to skin me and be me. If I was a credit card, I'd sue you for identity fraud. And I'm like, thank you for whoever wrote your one-liners, but like they don't apply. They're not funny and you're delivering them poorly. And then Angie brings up Kérastase, as I did at the beginning of this podcast, and asked Lisa, did you want to skin me when you jumped on that? Because Angie has used Kérastase for years, and she's the one who introduced this entire cast to it and has made me subsequently obsessed with it. So Kérastase should love Angie for that. But then Lisa, again, lies and denies that Angie's the one who introduced her to it. And everyone on stage is like, Angie is the one who introduced all of us to Kérastase. Like, don't Now you're just getting like real crazy. But Lisa doesn't care. She digs in. She cannot be humbled. She can't. As you say,
yeah.
constitutionally incapable.
I really do think.
I'm starting to believe.
Just because something would be completely unacceptable and humiliating and humbling for me, it would keep me up at night. If a tenth of the behavior that they have on camera for all of us to see, if that was me, oh my God, I would just like, mea the fucking culpa every goddamn day.
That's the thing is it's on camera. Like I could almost understand myself buying my own delusions of like, no, I couldn't have done that. That doesn't sound like me. But when it's on camera and it's undeniable and you still show up to reunion and go like, no, I didn't do that. And it's like, wait, but we saw you apologize profusely and say never, ever, ever again will I make fun of your husband. And then in each subsequent episodes for 10 more episodes, you made fun of her. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is going on?
If I was the subject of a poll on Watch What Happens Live and the viewers voted and I was not benefiting from their vote, I was clearly like the viewers that voted were like, you are in the wrong. I'm not saying that Bravo fans are the be-all, end-all in morality. I am just saying that they are a vocal group. We are a vocal group. Bravo fans tend to be passionate
Outspoken,
people,
yes.
outspoken and opinionated and firmly in corners of their favorite cast members, right? If I was Lisa and I saw the way people had voted about me, I would be like, oh, fucking God. Now, maybe that's a bigger problem. Maybe I've got the issues if I'm giving that much credence. Hey, maybe Lisa is infinitely more healthy than I am in this regards. Or maybe she's just showing traits that remind me of narcissists that I know. That's how I'm going to say it. So Andy cuts to break and Lisa whispers to Meredith, am I missing anything? Have I missed anything yet? And Meredith says, not yet.
It's just so shady. It's like, so clearly they have strategized and they've rehearsed and they've planned. And it's just, it bums me out because I was like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
It's so inauthentic. That was the most authentic moment that we got from the two of them. And it was completely vague. So I don't have any real information. But I was like, fuck you for wasting my time, you guys. Like this is an investment of time and you're abusing it. And I resent you for it. And I will add that to my fourth step.
And credit to the editors and the camera people that found it
And
important
isolated
enough to
it.
leave it in.
Yes.
Exactly.
As they should.
So they've shot over 100 episodes and they're celebrating that. And we see a package of classic Salt Lake City moments. You Smell Like Hospital, Whitney dropping the birthday cake, Meredith disengaging, Hi Baby Gorgeous from Lisa to one of her kids at pickup, Mary calling Whitney little girl, Mary again, Heather asking Mary, you think I look inbred? And Mary saying, I do. And Mary did apologize in the screen on screen in last night's episode. So again, I don't know what's going on with Mary. I really, part of me, again, the cynical part of me, that coping skill of cynicism and skepticism in order to protect myself from future hurt or anxiety is what informs that decision I'm making right now about Mary, not knowing what's going on, thinking that she's on a rehab tour, a rehab image tour 2025/2026 because of the documentary that was just released. I don't know. But
I don't know. I just think she has bigger stuff going on. Like her son is not recovered,
No,
Like I just
no.
don't think she gives a shit about her image until he is firmly on this planet for a while. Like I would be scared shitless. Like you get one bad pill and it's over. Like I wouldn't give a fuck about. I wouldn't
you're
watch
right.
that documentary. My kid, like forget it. I don't think she thinks about anything else. And I think that's why she's so readily emotional. It's like life is fucking precious and short and it can be erased. And she's so lucky that her son hasn't gotten a bad pill yet. Like it's a weird, and I don't know. I think about that piece of it all the time. It's her kid. And yes, he's 21 or whatever, but that's 21. He's like a baby. I don't know. It's just scary. But that's all my addict shit and watching people just like play with the line between life and death because you don't give a shit when you're an addict. Robert Jr. said it on camera. I don't care. I don't care if I die. So I just started experimenting with everything I could, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. If that was going on with like the person who mattered most in the world to me, I just don't think I'd give a shit what Hulu or anyone else had to say about me. I'd be like,
Mm.
I'll talk to you guys when that part of my life is under control. But until then, whatever. She needs her faith more than ever right now because that is powerlessness on a level that, unless you've been there, like, may you never experience it. It's fucking awful to love someone who's in the throes of addiction, you know?
Yeah.
Dismounting soapbox. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's all relevant. It's all relevant. So we see other footage, such as Jen Shaw on the Sprinter van in Beauty Lab and Laser, about to be arrested. And then we see right after that when Lisa's on the phone with one of her 6 lawyers on retainer saying, I'm shaking, I'm physically shaking. Meredith, the rumors and nastiness. Meredith saying, you can leave. And then we see the footage of Heather saying the now infamous quote that was used on the Congress floor by Congressperson Robert Garcia from the great state of California, saying receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, fucking everything. It's a great quote. And then we see who called me. Oh, yeah, it was Angie.
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
She calls Meredith. She goes, you look like a trampoline with eyes. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that. That to me is iconic.
Wow.
Then we get high body count hair, and then we get the lunch for 8 Lisas. And then it sort of devolves into costume parties and everyone hugging and saying they love each other. And we come back to Andy reflecting on, and he's right, what a huge part of the pop culture landscape this show has become in just 6 years. Like, that's a shit ton of iconic scenes in just 6 seasons.
And he mentioned on last night's episode about John Oliver being one of the fans. And we just got done talking about him, and he was on the Watch What Happened Live for the season finale.
And also in the zeitgeist was Julia Roberts, who appeared at the Golden Globes looking amazing. And she's a fan of Salt Lake City as well. And when Andy asked Mary, like, what's your most pinch me moment about this experience? Mary said that Julia Roberts has any idea who I am and has an opinion on what I do, you know?
Meredith could not have imagined a season 6, and she thought maximum she would be there through season 5, and maybe that would have been a good idea, she says. Ugh. And Whitney tells us that she promised to be real and honest from the jump, and it's been hard and it's been cathartic. And it's true. For all of the faults that Whitney has, whether or not I would respect her or like her or seek her out in real life, I question her political leanings, given her whatever. I don't need to talk about this. Jesus Christ. You fill in the blank. You know what I'm saying. But for everything that Whitney has done or is, she has been real and messy the whole time she's been on.
She's been honest, like, you know who she is.
She's been honest. Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that about her as well.
And then Mary. So Mary says that she once felt ostracized by the group, but has become a champion of the women and their relationships with one another. I just don't know if I buy that she is walking this. I guess no one has to be perfect, but I feel like she's rewriting history a little bit too. I feel like she has been so critical of everybody, like to their face, since she's been on this show. This season, there has been a notable shift, and I am not convinced it's not her redemption tour, but
Mary herself says, that she didn't feel comfortable with the group. And I don't think that was the group's problem. I think that was hers. And I think whatever happened with Robert Jr. softened her in a way. And this season, she has been the one, like when people, whatever that tea party was it Angie who stormed off or someone stormed off? Whitney, she followed them and said, you go back there, you use your voice, you say, you know what I mean?
yes.
And at the Grecian play that closed out the season, like she is there telling people to like stay in this, have this fight, work through this. This friendship is worth it. And that is new, but yeah.
My issue is when she says, I see good in all of them and I see beauty in all of them, and I just want to see them take accountability and grow. And if I can say 2 words to help, I will. When have we seen Mary take accountability?
We haven't.
Whitney, I'm sorry I called you little girl. Brittany, I'm sorry I said myriad things. I don't see Mary taking accountability at
I've
all.
never seen anything more raw than that scene with her son. And she did. When we watched back, You Think I Look Inbred, I Do, Mary in the screen and screen immediately says, I'm sorry to Heather. So again, you're right. It's new this season. It was not present in seasons past. But I don't know. I don't see her hiding. And I'll be curious because it does look like Andy brings up the cult problems that have befallen her and her church. So that will be an interesting moment to see what she does with that. But I don't know. When people approach her with questions, she doesn't do what Meredith does. Meredith turns it on everyone else or gets defensive or storms off. Mary at least stays, doesn't she? Or am I rewriting history?
It's almost like she has kept herself as out of her role. Okay, let me see how I'm trying to say this. I'm going to get there, I promise. She has not been the center of anything. She has been like counsel. She's been like consigliere. She's been advisor. I feel like that's strategic, though. She made like an internal commitment to herself to like, I am not going to be in the drama. I am going to be on the outside of it. I am going to be telling Meredith, I'm concerned about you. I'm going to be, tight with Angie. But she's not going to, it doesn't feel like authentic. It feels strategic.
See, I think Heather feels strategic in how she's playing advisor and narrator. I just think Mary has bigger fish to fry, and she hasn't hid a thing about Robert. And in truth, here's what's on my mind. Do you remember the fart scene with Angie? She was ready to end that fucking friendship. I can't even remember what it was that led into you should know the difference between my fart and a dog's fart. But there was something very heavy at stake between the two of them, and she showed up to have the hard conversation. Angie stuck through the hard conversation and kept a straight face as Mary did a 2-minute monologue about farts and dog farts. And that felt real. Like the emotion, like Mary got choked up when she said, like, you should know the difference between my fart and a dog fart. Like something was hurting in her. And I don't think she found the words to articulate the exact reality of what's going on. But I don't know if she knows. I don't know if she's in therapy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I feel like there's access to her this season in a way that there just wasn't with Heather. Heather's in high heels, putting a lightly stained mattress in a U-Haul. That to me is like, I don't know who you are or what's really going on. I think she lies about Captain Jason later. I just don't know I don't know. I don't believe you. So I can't even.
I get it. I think that Heather is very, very much a self-produced housewife.
This season, for sure.
Especially, yes. So Lisa tells Andy she thinks people misconstrue her as delusional and tells us, I'm very grounded. I'm a very hard worker and I love my family.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Heather shares that she feels a great tenderness towards who she was on season 1. She knew what everyone would say about her, physically, emotionally, financially, once she stepped into the public eye, but the opportunity was too great to pass up, so she summoned the courage to step in front of the cameras anyway. And this is what endeared everybody who watched the show to Heather Gay. This humility, this honesty, this acknowledgement that she was going to come forth with everything that would be picked apart by the Bravo fans, and she did it anyway. This is what endeared us to her. And then she got high on her own supply, and now she's reviled by those same fans. They feel very betrayed by her turn.
Yeah, because she went from showing up at like that most vulnerable stage when you're completely lost in your own life. Like her marriage was over. Her body wasn't what she wanted it to be. Her finances were a mess. Emotionally, she was dysregulated. And she showed up on camera and we were like, we are you. We see us in you. Cut to this season, she's doing an ad for a Wayfair office. All of this furniture I got at Wayfair. And it's just like, what? Who is this woman? And she wants her kids. She can't wait for her kids to get out. The whole thing is just like, you've become a weird, bad sitcom of like, get the kids out so I can fuck. It's mommy's time. It's like, oh my God. Where is that like woman of like great compassion and relatability from season 1? And maybe this is just part of the journey and she'll come back around. The pendulum just swung a little far in the Wayfair direction for the time being.
I mean, she's capable of it. I've never seen Lisa not be Lisa. But we have seen Heather show multitudes. Militudes? Militudes. Militudes? Multitudes. Thank you. Millipedes? JK. I know it's not millipedes. That's a bug. So Brittany joins the stage. She enters the stage and Brittany, again, constitutionally fucking incapable, man. She is just way too fucking eager. And she says, I'm so happy to be here. And Andy says, yeah, I know you are. It was cringe-worthy. I hate to say the word cringe, but Jesus, it fits.
It was, but it was so brief. She's like, Andy's like, let's bring Brittany out. She comes out. I'm happy to be here. He goes, I know you are. Then he asks her about a toy she's holding. And then he goes, let's move on. And we never hear from her again. I was like,
that was strange.
Brittany. It's so Brittany, though. It's so perfectly Brittany.
And it's just like, dude, when she brought that bear out, it literally said emotional support bear on the bear's t-shirt. So cheesy and just so contrived and not
try hard not to
stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, of course, there's a recorded message in it from Jared who says, I really do love you, Brittany, and I always will, no matter what happens, especially on the show. They're both repugnant. She'd rather have that attention than just step back and focus on repairing her relationship with her daughters. It is so wild to me. It is so wild.
I think she's doing it to get on Broadway. Do you know what I mean? Like, she does have a really nice voice and all that, but it does make me sad that I wonder if that's more centered in her consciousness than her fucking relationship to her daughters.
Yeah.
Like, it's so sad. And I wonder if Broadway wouldn't call faster if she did right by her children. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's kind of an unsavory character to put on a stage.
She really is. Yeah, that's a very good point. But so is Erica fucking Jane, and then she got the lead in Chicago.
But then COVID came and shut it all down.
That's true. Oh.
Yeah, a pandemic hit and was like, you're not going to finish your run, and also nobody's going to be on Broadway for 4 years. Bye.
I forgot about that. So, yes, Andy shuts it down, says, let's move on, and we go to the Below Deck Under crossover segment. Below Deck starts February 3rd.
Oh, Below Deck Down Under, yes.
Can't wait to watch that from this end. Whew, I can't wait. That's going to be so exciting. So Brittany claims she was not flirting with deckhands to make Jared jealous. In fact, she claims she didn't know she was flirting at all until she watched it back. And she says Heather was the biggest flirt. And Mary says that's not true. And Brittany cites Heather riding Captain Jason on a watercraft. And Heather says that's just technique. And Heather claims when she said she'd fucked around with Captain Jason, she meant hung out, that they never hooked up. And if they had, she'd be shouting it from the rooftops and wearing a sailor suit.
And this is where I call bullshit. Like, you said fucked around and you know what you meant. And now you're talking about rewriting history. I'm like, please don't do this. We know how smart you are because we've watched you since season 1. So please don't play us for dumb fucks and tell us that fucked around means hang out. Blow me.
I would never. Yeah, that is that has one connotation.
Duh. And when you say there's no chemistry, like, I don't say that about people unless I've tried something physical with them, you know? It's weird.
It was weird. Bronwyn says that she did not speak of her sealed case because she was not the one who asked for it to be sealed, and out of respect for her husband and daughter, she was not going to talk about something that would impact them on camera to these ladies, referring to when they brought up her lawsuits on the yacht. She says that and this was a very good point that she brought up. She said, listen, I just got my citizenship and they're not giving those out to people who have any kind of felonious past.
See, I didn't think it was a good point. I was like,
and I heard myself say that and yep.
Yeah, I was like, if we're talking about the same, they overlook felonies committed by people with lots of money. So nice try.
Of money.
You're not the average person fighting for citizenship, Bronwyn. Like, don't.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, Ramona, I'm disappointed in you for not immediately
it was
getting your cynical hackles up for this.
No, that was a smart argument. But again, I was like, it does not apply to someone with a very rich husband. because we find out that she was fired from her job in 2018 for making fraudulent charges on a company card in the neighborhood of $100,000. And Todd got involved and the case was dismissed. So this is what money can do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you or I charged $100,000 on a company credit card, we'd be in court and paying restitution, but not when you have money and power on your side. And Bronwyn claims that the sealed case is not related to that charge, but she doesn't deny that charge, which I thought was curious. And also, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? And then she talks about these previous cases that have been expunged, and it's all stuff from college. So, like, who cares? It's an eviction and a roommate dispute, and that's all, like, typical learning how to grow up stuff. I don't know. That stuff doesn't bother me either. I don't know.
No.
And it seems like that without Todd, she did have to go through the court system and she did make restitution. So that's done and dusted.
So Meredith and Lisa, meanwhile, are whispering to themselves. Andy calls them out about it. Meredith claims it was just about something that needed to be noted in case we need to go back there at some point in time. And Heather calls her out for this and says, is this some kind of tag team thing? Basically using the same language that Lisa and Meredith used to describe Heather and Whitney. And Meredith says, no, not at all. And Meredith says, okay, well, I guess I'm not supposed to speak or feel. We know that already. This martyr victim manipulation attempt, this anemic manipulation attempt is so unattractive, Meredith. It's gross.
And it's also nonsense.
It's
nobody's
complete, utter
interrupting
bullshit.
her.
I'm not supposed to speak or feel.
You started this whole reunion with a diatribe about the trajectory of blah, blah, blah based on the, like, shut up.
So as they cut to break, Angie tells Andy that she saw Ben lost his first tooth. Ben is Andy's son, and they all find it very adorable. And Andy admits that he wept watching Ben proudly show off his first tooth that he lost at school.
I did think this was really sweet because it was just sort of a moment of like parents doting on adorable, like that adorable age of like 5 or 6 or whatever it is when kids' teeth start to fall out. But it makes me laugh so hard how easily manipulated Andy is because everyone's like, oh, that's so cute. And you did the tooth fairy. And he's like, yeah. And I cried when my sweet son brought his tooth into school. And we're back. I'm Andy Cohen here with the glorious Real Housewives. Oh, they're glorious now? Because we've also seen footage of you storming off the set, sir. So like we're all subject to manipulation. They say 3 nice words about his baby boy. And he's like, these women are glorious. It just made me laugh. And then we get into Andy asks if Lisa leaked this information about Bronwyn's past to the press. And Bronwyn notes that Lisa herself may not have leaked it, but it is notable that when Lisa does not like someone, a big focus suddenly seems to get put upon bad press about that person. Lisa, of course, denies this, claiming she read it all on Twitter. And Bronwyn fires back saying that somebody on that boat trip leaked that Bronwyn was a late arrival for that trip. And since Lisa was the only person she was fighting with, it sure seems like it could be Lisa. And Lisa claims that she doesn't keep an arsenal. And then Heather asks her, well, then why do you have cybersecurity and 7 lawyers? And why do you go the distance? And Lisa's like, do you understand my business? And I love this. Heather was like, actually, no. I have no idea what Lux marketing is and how it makes money. Can you explain that to me? And then Lisa freaks out, which is really weird. And she goes, I do experimental activations, major ones. I make millions of dollars a year. And Heather says, it's weird that you're freaking out instead of just simply explaining to me how you make money. If someone asks me how Beauty Lab and Laser makes money, I tell them these procedures cost this price point, and that's how I bring in cash flow. What does Lux marketing do? And she's like, I incubate brands and own companies. And I was like, this is vague. And the IRS is going to have a field day with this. You better get your fucking numbers in order, my dear, because like this sounds weird. And then Lisa threatens her sort of in this sideways way saying, you've come to parties with Daniel Radcliffe and the Bella twins and you don't know what I do? And I was like, I've been to a lot of parties and I don't know what most of the people in those rooms do. So like, so you're just saying because you're surrounded by celebrity? Bernie Madoff was surrounded by celebrity. Lots of crooks are so like, what? Just fucking say, what is Lux marketing? What is that? And how is it a multi-million-dollar a year business? How?
So Heather says, listen, I don't know what you do. I know you sell tequila. And Lisa says, are you really that disgusting that you're going to question how I make money when you've been invited to events? The word disgusting felt really inappropriate and questionable and like kind of jarring. Like that word doesn't fit here. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
It was extra, as the kids would say.
I thought it was more than that, though. Like it felt like she was reaching. It felt like she was so caught that she's like, are you going to be so disgusting? It felt like a page out of Meredith's handbook. So Heather asks her, why is it a disgusting question? And Lisa says, I do big things with big people. And guess what? I'm a big fucking deal. And then she turns to Bronwyn and says, what do? You spend Todd's money. So fucking rude, dude.
Yeah. And again, she never answered the question. What do you do that brings in money? When you say owning companies and incubating brands, that doesn't translate to dollars and cents. What does that fucking mean? This is the Jen Shaw thing. Remember they asked her what she did and she ummed on that same fucking reunion stage and wound up in jail. So I think Lisa's, I don't know. It made me feel, I was like, I kind of want to get out of this line of questioning because it's so clearly fucking not okay. Either she doesn't know how she earns money, which is fine, but dangerous, or she's earning money in a fucked up way, which is Jen Shaw. And Angie was right to equate the two. So I don't fucking know.
So Andy asks Heather, how can you come for Lisa but also call her a friend? And Heather said, because I am friends with people that aren't perfect. I'm not friends with people that are actually even moral representations of what I aspire to. I'm friends with people who I'm friends with. She's not a good friend, but she's an important friend.
That I thought was pretty profound. I've got a few
too.
of those in my life too. People who've just been around and you've shared history with them. So they may not be a good friend, but they're important to like my identity, my story, and same with me to them. So
yeah. And then we end the episode with their idea of a cliffhanger. Angie hands Andy a scroll that apparently Meredith had given Angie a few seasons back that proves Lisa is the source of the shit stirring, the source of the leaks, the source of anything negative being leaked to the press. So she says, as she hands Andy the scroll, the person trolling me has the same phone number that Lisa has. So
dun, dun, dun.
We will see. We will see next week. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So it was to be expected. You know,
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see
And
see
it's
if
just
anything
nothing
else
new.
happens.
I'm
No.
worried about it being 3 episodes. I'm like, oh, we're just rehashing what we've already watched. So that makes me a little like, meh.
Yeah.
But what else did you watch this week?
I am doing a summer house cram session with Josh because I'm trying to get him to finish. He's only on season 3 and he's got 9 more seasons to finish. I'm sorry. He's got 7 more seasons to finish before the new one starts, but honestly, it'll be fine. It'll be fine if he doesn't catch up.
It'll be kind of funny to see a jump in time, like
Yeah.
and there's no notable difference. Kyle, the only difference is that Kyle is now also a DJ. He's still the same
He's still exactly
drunken,
the same. Holy
like
shit.
unfaithful weirdo he was before.
So season 3 of Summer House. I recently finished season 1 of The Real Housewives of New York City. Oh, The Beast in Us with Matthew Rhys and Claire Danes and Brittany Snow on Netflix. It's very good. Not quite done with that. Let's see. Potomac. Oh God, and I'm still going through Gossip Girl. Just started season 4. It's sunk cost fallacy at this point. It's good to have on while I fold laundry. Honestly, it's fine. It's very low stakes. It's very low stakes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about you, friend? What did you watch?
I had a big football week, and then I got caught up on a lot of Bravo stuff. I'm now caught up on Southern Charm, which it's great. At some point, like Summer House, I sense you'll get into it and really get bought in. And I don't know if you heard about the controversy this week, and it was truly awful. And I hate to bash another podcaster, but Nick Viall and his wife interviewed Austin Kroll, who was previously a relatively unsympathetic character until Nick Viall's wife just crassly, crudely, just with no lube at all, asked Austin the most personal question about the truly tragic, untimely death of his sister when his sister was only 9 and he was only 7. And there's been a lot of backlash about that. And I am suddenly, Austin handled himself so gracefully, and Nick and his wife should be so grateful for that, because he really could have stood up and left or shredded them entirely. And so anyways, I'm suddenly an Austin Kroll like sympathist, supporter,
Apologist.
That's the word. Briefly, I'm sure that will change once I watch this week's episode. But anyways, it was a big week for Southern Charm in the news. This new season of Vanderpump Rules, I'm just obsessed with it. It's so ridiculous and fantastic, and just a look at that stage of life, just an unflinching look at that stage of life. You know, you were talking about how reality shows have become somewhat, people who are attracted to be on reality TV are often self-produced. But at that age, you don't know how to self-produce. You've only been alive for such a limited amount of time. You can't hide your flaws. So it's kind of a nice, raw reality show. And then The Traitors, which I just fucking love. It's great. I hate Michael Rappaport, as does everyone else, but it's either like the smartest casting or like the biggest insult to viewers, and I can't tell which it is yet. So I'm in.
Dose. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was your antidepressant?
Okay, here's what I will say. It's not bad right now. It just, life feels very lifey. It feels particularly lifey. You know, coming out of the holidays, getting back into the swing of things, it definitely feels like, you know, you're trying to get through. Like if you're trying to, like, you know, run down the street, but you've got like cement shoes on, you know, like it's not impossible, but it's not easy right now. That's all relative, obviously. I have been practicing this week that instead of looking at my day and going, what I didn't do, I'm looking at what I did do and acknowledging that instead. And that is feeling very good to do that. I don't feel like I deserve to celebrate small wins. I feel like I only deserve to celebrate big ones. Big deal. People do XYZ every day. Why should I be commended for this? Well, because you struggle with some stuff, Ramona. That's why. And if you want to change and shift, this is what everybody has been telling you for as long as you've been in therapy, is to be kind and compassionate to yourself. So just doing that is feeling good.
That's huge.
At the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Take
Thank
the
you.
just off that sentence. That's huge. Like you said, it is the first instruction I got in therapy in college.
Yeah.
The first time I saw a therapist. And like, I'm with you. It's really only just now that I'm like, well, I guess I've tried a bunch of decades of doing it the punishing way, and it sure isn't creating the outcome. So now I'm just like worn out. So I'm like, all right, I'll try self-compassion. Let's give that a go. Everyone's been talking about it. So that's amazing.
Thank you, friend. Thank you. And how about you?
My antidepressant was, I've recently joined this, it's just like a little improv workshop with all these like former groundlings and some current groundlings of all ages, like literally from the ones who founded it in the 70s all the way to present day groundlings. And it's just a couple hours on Saturday, and it's so low pressure, no pressure. And last week, I don't know what happened. You know how sometimes you're just able to be like present for your life, and like for whatever reason in those 2 hours, I was able to like really be in that room and really appreciate those people and have a good class and a good time. And like, I don't know, it was an antidepressant. I left feeling like high, you know, and not like overly high in a weird cracked out way, but in like I was there for that. And that was great, you know?
Yeah.
So,
that's
like
one
you're
of your
saying,
happy places. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Oh my God. Go
no,
ahead.
that's fine. It is one of my happy places. And to be able to be present for that, like you said, to like celebrate every small victory, like that, in my head, it's almost like shaming it to call it a small victory. Like that's actually a big fucking deal, because I can be in a room for 2 hours and appear to be present, but be making lists in my head that send me into that black hole of somehow it just becomes like, oh shit, you forgot to change and get new flowers, like that the flowers in your room are dead, or you know what I mean? And it can suddenly devolve into like, what is your point on this planet?
Right. You
What have
never
you
do
done
anything
with your life? Yes.
Right.
Like, and I can be in a room doing what I'm there to do and appearing to have a great time, and also simultaneously be having that conversation in my head. So this weekend, I got a total reprieve from that, and that was a goddamn delight. It might as well have been a day at Disneyland for all the joy that came out of it. So that was it.
Great. I love that. Oh, how fun that must be. Oh, I'd love to watch.
It's fun. Yeah, it's a good time.
Everyone, thank you so much for listening. This was a pleasure. Margie, it was great to see you and talk about this episode, this part 1 of the reunion. Everyone out there, just take really good care of yourselves. Thank you so much for listening. We'll get back at one point to posting on YouTube as well as posting more on social media. I don't know, man. One day at a time. There's other stuff calling my attention first right now.
Yes,
Sorry.
First things first.
But this is always a priority. I love recording this podcast, even though we're not on YouTube right this second.
Yeah, everyone just take really good care of yourselves, and we will talk next week.
We will talk next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.